Testing 1, 2, 3, VE3DRZ testing, bye.
Good evening, this is Victor Echo 3, X-Ray Bravo Hotel. My name is Brian and I'm your controller this evening for the Mississauga Amateur Radio Emergency Service Net. The purpose of this net is to pass ARES-related traffic and items of interest to the ARES group. When checking in, please announce your call sign using phonetics followed by your first name. Before we commence any general check-ins, is there any emergency or priority traffic only? Come now, please. Heard, are there any general check-ins for the Mississauga ARES net? Please come now with your call sign and name.
Victor Echo 3, Delta Romeo Zulu John.
Victor Alpha 3, Whiskey X-Ray Alpha, Gord.
Victor Alpha 3, Hotel Echo Sierra, Mark.
Amateur Radio Repeater VE3MIS.
Hey, I heard three stations in there, VA3HES Mark, VA3WXA Gord, and top of the list, John, VE3DRZ. Go ahead, please, John.
Roger, Brian. Good evening to all on that. Nothing significant to report in terms of ARES. On a personal note, I've had a bit of a rather serious health problem that I woke up Sunday morning to find I'm deaf in one ear, but I can still copy you. Back to you, V3XBH and the group. This is VE3DRZ.
VE3DRZ, VE3XBH. John, I'm sorry to hear that. Hope everything is going well, or you're obviously, I guess, getting it looked at.
Roger that. I've been to the doctor and I'm back there again tomorrow morning. Unfortunately, my first call Monday morning was to my ear, nose, and throat ENT specialist, just to find out that she's on, I guess, maternity leave until July. So we'll see what my GP says tomorrow morning, Brian.
Well, John, I hope everything goes well. Sorry to hear that, but hopefully we'll be able to get that all sorted out for you.
Aging is not for the faint of heart.
And I guess not, but I guess it happens to all of us sooner or later.
Roger that, roger that.
John, well, good luck with it. Hope everything works out for you. Anything else?
Nothing really. I was up to the FSV today and showed it to a potential buyer from the Burlington Amateur Radio Club, and gave all that back to Andy, 3CW, who's handling the sale, and we'll see how that goes. But it looked rather promising.
Well, that sounds good. I am getting a little concerned that we may need to get it out of there, even to a temporary location in the next couple of weeks. But hopefully, if this works out, we might just be able to do it all in one.
Possibly. Also of interest, while I was there, when I got there this morning, one of the firemen came out from the fire hall and just right out of the blue asked if was this trailer up for sale. And I said, well, as a matter of fact, it is. Oh, he said, that I could be quite interested in this. So I gave him my card, and he said, well, I'll hope to be in touch with you. So we'll see what happens there, Brian.
Well, that sounds good. So that would make it even more convenient if we didn't have to move it. So, but okay, John. Well, that sounds great. Thank you for that info.
Roger that. Well, you'll be hearing, I'm sure, as things progress as to what's happening with it. But certainly the chap from Burlington, Victor Echo 3, Peter X-ray, was quite impressed with the trailer, and in particular the quality of the cabinetry that TKI and QC did on the inside. So we'll see.
Okay, John. Well, sounds good. Thanks again for that. Okay, we'll go now to VA3 WXA. Gord, come on in, Gord.
VE3MIS VHF returning. Good evening to Brian and all on net. It is Gord here at the home UTH here in Midtown Toronto, and we're doing just fine. Nothing personally helpful. Sorry to hear about John's hearing loss in one of his ears. Oh boy, I hope I never get that. I hope it never happens to me, especially because I'm blind. Let's roll for a second. Just so everyone knows, and for those, especially those who are on my Canborn mailing list, I did send out a mass blast to those on the mailing list about an event coming up on June 9th on Zoom. And Brian, by all means, you can post it on the group's I.O. if you like, and email list, and maybe even the Saga club group's I.O. if for those who may be interested in Canwarn, and it sounds like an interesting event. I may even attend. I mean, despite that, I'm not exactly a fan of Zoom, but anyway, I'll let it roll. Also, one more thing, weather radio is changing to new voices, just so everyone knows. It is starting today, and it's going to be rather interesting to see what happens and how it happens that the voices change, and when they change from the old to the new. I think we'll probably get it here in Ontario probably sometime in the summer, late summer or so. But either way, I'm looking forward to it. I may have more to say about it at the Aries meeting if we have one this month. Anyways, Brian, nothing else from that. Other than that, back to you.
3WXA, VE3XBH. Okay, Gord, thanks for that info. Thanks for I did see the note that you sent out about Canwarn, so I'll post that link on the group's I/O, and I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens on weather radio with the new voices. Gord, thanks again for checking in, and thanks for that information. Okay, with that, let's go to VA3 HES. Mark, go ahead, please, Mark.
Good evening, Brian and all on net. Victor Alpha 3 Hotel Echo Sierra. Mark. John, sorry to hear about your ear. That's something that scares the living bejesus out of me is losing my hearing, because that's how I make bread for the family. No other traffic to report, and we're live again tonight on YouTube. And thanks, Brian, for organizing the set this past weekend. That was pretty fun. It was nice to hang out with Daniel and gain a little bit more experience as a controller. Maybe I'll muster up the courage to be net controller for one of these nets one of these nights. That's all for now. Back to you, Brian.
3HES, VE3XBH. Okay, Mark. Sounds good. Thanks again for setting up the live YouTube feed. And yeah, by all means, try doing a Tuesday net sometime. It's your first one's a little nerve-wracking, but after that, it it kind of settles down. But it certainly is a lot of fun. And thanks again for your help on the set. I think it went quite well. Okay, with that, we're at the bottom of the list. Is there anyone else would like to check into the Mississauga Aries net? Come now, please.
VE3MIS repeater.
Okay, nothing heard, so I guess we'll close the net for now. I'd just like to remind everybody that at 8:30 our time on this same repeater, the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday Night Net begins, and that's also will be carried live on YouTube, thanks to Mark, and also on the TechLink node on Echolink. So if you're around, by all means, check in. So with that, we'll close the net. I'd like to thank everybody for joining this evening. This is Victor Echo 3, X-Ray Bravo Hotel, closing the net and returning the repeater to normal use. Thank you all for your participation. Good evening, and 7-3.
VE3MIS
Echolink TECHLINK conference.
This is Victor Alpha 3, Golf Delta Zulu. The name is Gary. The Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday Night Net will start in about 4 minutes. Any early check-ins? I'll take them now.
VE3 Golf Delta Zulu. Good morning from Australia. VK6 BQQ checking in. Got a little few things on the go here this morning, so I'm not sure whether I can hang around or not, but seeing you're looking for an early check-in, here's one for you now. VE3 Golf Delta Zulu. VK6 BQQ. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning there, Reg. Got you checked in, regardless whether you can join us or not for first or second round. We've all got stuff to do. It's a beautiful day here. Looking forward to a much better summer than we had last year. We'll see. Any other check-ins? Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Net will start in about 3 minutes. Any early check-ins for the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Net? The Club Net will start in about a minute. Good evening. This is Victor Alpha 3, Golf Delta Zulu. My name is Gary, and I'm your controller tonight for the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday Night Net for June the 1st, 2021. This net's available on the club's VHF repeater and on Echolink, starting at 20:30 hours Eastern Daylight Time or 0030 UTC. It's expected to last about an hour with a bit of contingency on the end depending on the number of check-ins. Please stand by. To participate in the net locally, you can do so on the VE3MIS VHF repeater. Tune 145.430 megahertz with a negative 600 kilohertz offset and a 103.5 hertz tone. To participate on Echolink, connect to the TechLink conference node number 9229 or one of the conferences that connect to TechLink. I'd like to thank the organizers of the Ham Conference and the Dewdrop In Conference for linking with us a little bit later this evening and bringing in all their many links as well to this net. I see they're not in net, so I guess we'll do the locals first today and see if they come in a little bit later. But we certainly value participation from outside our region, and after dealing with club matters and announcements, we hope hams from far and wide will stay with us. This means you may have to leave a couple seconds space for all the links to work. Please stand by. If you would like to find out more about the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club, visit our website, www.marc.on.ca. That's Mike Alpha Romeo Charlie .Oscar November .Charlie Alpha. Club's email address is ve3mis@rac.ca. That's Victor Echo 3, Mike India Sierra @Romeo Alpha Charlie .Charlie Alpha. My email is on my QRZ page. This is VA3 Golf Delta Zulu, and my name is Gary, Golf Alpha Romeo Yankee. The purpose of this net is to share news and views with club members and visitors alike. It also provides experience for volunteer operators in nets and emergency procedures. All check-ins are welcome, and we especially value international participation and invite local non-members to join in too. Please stand by. We'll start with one round followed by an optional second round if time permits for just 7 threes and comments on what you've heard. Short time check-ins will be called first and then general check-ins follow. General check-ins will alternate between the RF users and Echolink users. Listen carefully for the group that matches your circumstances. So the plan for tonight is a few club announcements. I'll record the check-ins by different types, and then you guys can take over and share any news or activities or take a crack at the question of the day, which will be about anything positive has come out of the past pandemic year. I'll elaborate on that more in a little while. And then an optional comment round at the end to comment or on what others have said or to say 7 threes. Please stand by. Okay, first let's have some club news and announcements. And if you're coming in on Echolink, we thank you for your patience. The Mississauga Amateur Radio Club meets virtually via Zoom conferencing on the second and third Thursday of each month. General meetings emphasize comradeship and learning are open to guests and visitors. Some club news. This week there'll be an executive club meeting this Thursday. The details are on the club's website. And the people on the executive know who you are and how to get in on that. There's been some talk about the ARRL Field Day already for 2021. It's almost always, I think it's always on the 4th weekend in June, which would put it on the 26th and 27th. And we'd like members and whoever else can get a hit on our repeater to contact the club station on all eligible bands. Please stand by. Just mention a few nets on this repeater. All times are Eastern Daylight in North America. There's a Cross Canada IRLP net every Wednesday from 11 to noon Eastern Daylight on VE3MIS, this repeater, or IRLP 9013. There's a Friday Night Tech Link hosted by our friend Reg from Western Australia. It's every Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. local time in Eastern Daylight Time on VE3MIS via Echolink 929 or the TechLink Conference. Our Club System Fusion repeater on UHF is now operational with internet conductivity for those using C4 FM. Let's see, locally you can reach it using analog. The frequency is 444.575 megahertz plus 5 megahertz offset, tone 103.5. And there's a 2-meter single sideband net on Fridays. Look for VE3MIS on 144.222 megahertz at 8 p.m. if you have the equipment. Email for details on any of these to VE3MIS at rac.ca or check out our club website. Please stand by. Okay, I'm getting ready to move towards check-ins, but before I do, I'll just explain to anybody who's listening in from outside of our region that Mississauga in the province of Ontario is the 6th largest municipality in Canada. We're the western neighbor of Toronto, Canada's largest city, and the center of the Golden Horseshoe, which is a large urban and industrial region of 11 people, spanning much of the northern and western shore of Lake Ontario, all the way down to Niagara Falls. This net not only spans this region by radio and comes in on internet by Echolink, but we're also streaming it on YouTube. This can be neat since you can have your time chatting when it's your turn, and then go back and hear yourself, because you can replay the Echolink the stream on YouTube. All you have to do is replay the YouTube video. All you have to do to find it on YouTube is type in VE3MIS, our repeater call sign, and do a YouTube search, and then look for the current live feed. Please stand by. Okay, check-in protocol. When checking in, please announce your call sign using phonetics, followed by your first name. Check-ins will be called in 4 groups. Any local emergency or high priority, mobile, local RF, and Echolink station. Check in with the group that matches your circumstances. If we have time for a second round, you can use that for your chance to comment on what you've heard or just to say 7-3 to the rest of the gang. Also, Echolink check-ins and RF check-ins will be called separately to reduce the risk of doubling. So please leave a gap of a second or two, since there could be many linked conferences. Finally, try not to transmit for more than 1 minute at a time to prevent system timeouts, and also allow others to check in and have their turn. You can actually say quite a bit in a minute, and hopefully comment at the end of the first round. Please stand by. Okay, time for some check-ins. Please remember when checking in, announce your call sign using phonetics, followed by your first name, your QTH, especially if you're not local, and it's one and done, meaning that you won't be around for the second round. Please stand by. Okay, I got the old pen ready. Any emergency or high priority traffic, RF or Echolink, go ahead, please. Nothing heard, which is good news, actually. Mobile. Is anybody mobile? We'll take your check-in now, and that way, in case you can't get back to us later, you'll be up front. So any mobile? Okay, everybody's sedentary today. That's good. Okay, I'm going to start with RF. We have the ham conference just came in, so I'll repeat some of the information later. And do drop in sometimes comes in too. Just for the benefit of the ham conference, this is the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday night net. And I'm going to take some local RF check-ins first. Name and call sign, use phonetics please. Local RF check-ins, please go ahead.
Victor Alpha 3, Alpha Zulu Alpha, Brian in Mississauga.
Victor Echo 3, X-Ray Bravo Hotel, Brian in Mississauga.
Victor Alpha 3 Hotel Echo Sierra, Mark in Mississauga.
Okay, I got 3 there. I've got, well, actually I got Reg first. He was in there early, may not be able to stay with us. BQQ from Australia. Brian AZA, Brian XBH, and Mark HES. Any other RF check-ins? Okay, none heard right now. We'll check back with you guys later. Anybody on Echolink? Got Reg down there already. Anybody else coming in on Echolink? Please go ahead.
Victor Echo 3 Whiskey Bravo Foxtrot. Name is Barry. Location Mississauga. Over.
Net Control, Victor Kilo 2 Delta Yankee, Robert is clear.
Kilo 0 Foxtrot Yankee Romeo, Mike in Colorado.
Okay, I'll stop there for a moment. I've got Barry, WBF, Robert, DK2DY, and Mike, K0FYR. Any other check-ins from Echolink? Okay, nothing heard. Any other check-ins on RF from the local region? Please go ahead. Okay, nothing heard. We'll let other people check in a little bit later. I'm going to get to the question of the day. You're very welcome to just tell us about what's happening locally. That might be of interest to others. But I'm going to put you guys on the spot for a question of the day. I have to say that it has to do with the pandemic, and it's a subject I desperately want to leave. But many countries are finally coming out of the pandemic. It's been a terrible year for everyone and tragic for many. We're all tired of it, and we want to look forward to something better. So I'm going to ask you guys if there's something positive that came out of the past year, any positive takeaways from the pandemic period. For example, in the way that you've been communicating with family or friends, within your business, perhaps with the schools, for education purposes, something positive about the way you commute or travel, or how about the way you get your food, or how you handle financial matters cashlessly, attending group events. Just mention one or two that's important to you for the sake of time, and I want only positive things. Let's be positive looking forward. So the question then is, what did you do differently in the past pandemic year that'll affect you in a positive way going forward? And if you can't think of anything, that's fine, because it's been a pretty lousy year. But I'm going to see if you guys can come up with some positives that will change the world going forward. I'll take a bit of a break here for a sec. Okay, going to the top. Reg, if you're still there, VK6BQQ, the mic's yours, sir. Okay, I think Reg said that he was in and out this morning, so, this morning his time, evening our time. So we'll try him again a little bit later. Okay, Brian, VA3AZA, what's new, and do you want to take a crack at the question of the day? Any positive takeaways from last year?
VA3GDZ, this is VA3AZA, and Gary, I just wanted to thank you for taking on that. Always appreciate that, and it's good to hear you. Positive, yeah, believe it or not, a few, yes, and I guess it's, you're kind of priming the pump there when you're giving some suggestions and kind of waking up my recollection, but I think one thing that I did differently as a positive thing is I tended to order things online that normally I would go out to get, especially with Maxwell, like grocery store or whatever. And in my mind, I'd always thought of ordering online as being associated with things that were difficult to get and that were coming from afar. But local ordering is advantageous, and I probably wouldn't have tried that unless I'd been compelled to, and we tried it because we felt compelled to stay out of the stores and such. So that's one positive. That kind of broke some old habits, I guess, and kept me off the roads. VA3A today, over to net control.
Okay, thank you for that suggestion, Brian. I think Amazon is going to want to know if you're going to continue that going forward, though. And the local businesses probably would like to see you back again, but we'll see. Okay, that's a good one, and maybe you'll come up with something on the second round, or you can react to what you hear others have to say. I see one or two more on the list here, but I'm going to work my way down. How about Brian, VE3XBH? How's it been going, Brian? And do you want to take a crack at the question of the day? What did you do in the past pandemic year that'll affect you in a positive way going forward?
VA3GDZ, VE3XBH. Good evening, Gary, and everybody on net. Certainly hope everybody's well. As far as positive things coming out of this pandemic, certainly there's a lot more awareness of things like washing your hands and that sort of thing, something that a lot of people neglect. But I think mostly was communicating with friends and family over, over different platforms, Zoom and, and Skype and things like that we didn't normally do. We, a lot of times just pick up the phone and yak on the phone, that sort of thing, and kind of got more used to doing that. So that made it kind of nice. And I think we'll probably, continue that. Once friends and family got comfortable with the idea and how to use it, it's kind of handy. So that's pretty much it. We had a nice day today, and all is well here. So I'll send it back to you, Gary. VA3GDZ. This is VE3XBH.
Yeah, okay, Brian, thank you for that. I suspect several people are going to have the same answer, because it's certainly been a transformative year for everybody, but I'm really fishing for what's going to continue going forward, and I think that could be one of them. But the question is, when you can finally get out and give people a hug, are you going to Zoom them? Or it certainly does cut down on travel expenses, though, doesn't it? Hi. Okay. We'll see if you are there for the second round, or if you want to react to what you've heard. Who's next here? Mark, VA3HES. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Gary, and all on net. Victor Alpha 3 Hotel Echo Sierra, Mark in Mississauga, and a good evening to Lawrence, VE3HQM, and David Kingsland. I'm goofing. VE3MDX, if I remember correctly. Yeah, VE3MDX. Not too much to report. Something good that came out of COVID is I got my ham radio license, something I had been putting off for over 20-something years, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to take the course and get the test and be part of the Mississauga Club. And it was fun and frustrating to be confined with your entire family for over a year. It's been a growing experience for all of us, and I can tell you my daughter's tired of doing school over the computer and is dying to go back, but sounds like that won't happen until next year. But yeah, some good, there's some silver lining to the terrible cloud we've all been under, and I'll be around for the second round. Back to you, Gary.
Yeah, thank you for that, Mark. This is VA3 Golf Delta Zulu, Gary, and you're listening to the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday Night Net. Yeah, you got your ham license. I did too. I didn't know how long a haul this would be, and I am ever glad that I did. Met so many contacts, made new friends all over the world. It would have been a much longer haul mentally for sure if I didn't have my amateur radio license, and I could play around with lots of different gizmos and talk to people all over the place. I think it's been very healthy mentally to have that capability. Thanks for that. It's a good one. Oh, and also Lawrence and David, you people who are listening on YouTube, you want to take a crack at the question of the day, you can type in an answer in the chat there, and we'll keep an eye on it and see what you have to say. Okay, moving on. Next we have Barry, VE3WBF. So Barry, how's it going? And are there any positive takeaways that you can share with us from the pandemic period? Over to you, Barry.
Victor Alpha 3 Golf Delta Zulu. This is VE3WBF. I'm sitting out in our patio in the front, watching the sun go down and enjoying the nice evening here. From the result out of the pandemic is that my wife has started baking, and she's doing an excellent job. We've got some tarts and cakes and cookies, which she normally does, but she's also gone into bread of various types, and they're really, really good. The only drawback is we've all gained weight. So I'm one and gone on this one, so back to the net. This is VE3WBF, over.
Oh, Barry, thank you for that. Oh, you're making me gain weight. How did you know that I gained weight over the past year? Oh, that's terrific. Yeah, more time indoors, more time to learn some new recipes, more time to gain weight. I try to maintain exercise, but it is hard. I always lose weight in the summer when I can get out and do some golf and tennis and hiking and biking and stuff, and I gain it in the winter. But it's been a rough year from a weight gain point of view. Wow, that is a good one. Okay, I've got you down as one and done, but thank you very much for joining us. We have two more here, and then I will open it up for some more check-ins. Okay, next is Robert, VK2DY. Robert always has some good stories for us on our net and on the Friday night net too. Wouldn't be the same without you, Robert. What's going on? What's new? And if you want, you can take a crack at the question of the day. Any positive takeaways from the pandemic period that we've all been through?
So, good morning. This is Robert, Victor Kilo 2, Delta Yankee in Kellyville Ridge, New South Wales, but all part of the urban sprawl that is Sydney. 13.5 degrees Celsius. We got down to 5 degrees Celsius last night. So we are getting winter temperatures here. June 1st was the official start of winter in Australia. We use the meteorological rather than the astronomical reckoning of seasons. So June 1st was the first day of winter. But you know, the sun is still shining, the sky is still blue, so it never gets that cold here. It just feels cold. Anyway, other than that, no more let's see. Only
We lost you there, Robert. Want to try again? No, good luck on Robert. I'll try him a little bit later. I was just getting to the interesting part, too. Okay. Well, we hope you're okay there, Robert, and you can keep your winter. We've been through it, and you guys rubbed it in, and now it's our turn to rub it in for you guys down there. Okay, last one on my list before I open it up for more check-ins is K0FYR, Mike in Colorado. Thank you very much for joining us, Mike. What's going on in Colorado, and do you want to take a crack at the question of the day? Anything positive to take away from the pandemic period? Over to you.
K2DY. Hey, I'm back. I'm transmitting again. Anyway, won't keep it any longer. Positive things from COVID. I don't carry a wallet anymore, which is very positive, just my phone. And what else is positive? Oh, just shopping online. Shopping online now. So those are both the two positive things for me. VK.
Yeah, okay there, Robert. You might have clobbered Mike if he's still in there. I'll try him in a moment. But shopping, sure. We also heard that, I think, from Brian, and Amazon's going to want to hear from you, too. They don't want to lose you as a customer, as if they need more money, right? Thank you for coming in there, Robert. We'll see if you're still around on the second round. Let me try again for Mike from Colorado, K0FYR. Are you still in there, Mike? Over to you if you are. Oh, nothing heard from Mike. So let's see. We got back to Robert. We recovered him, but we lost Mike in the process in Colorado. Okay, I'll give him a try a little bit later. Time for seeing if we have any more check-ins. Start with check-ins on RF. Any RF check-ins, please go ahead.
Victor Echo 3, Oscar Alpha Papa, Adam, Mississauga.
Okay, I heard one. I didn't get the beginning, but I got Oscar Alpha Papa from Adam in Mississauga. So hang on there, Adam. Anybody coming in on Echolink through the ham conference or the TechLink node? Anybody on Echolink would like to check in to the Tuesday night Mississauga Amateur Radio Club net? Go ahead.
Victor Alpha 3, Kilo Yankee.
Victor Alpha 3, Whiskey Mike, VE3WM.
Okay, we got a couple more in there. We got Adam, Kevin, and John. I'll repeat the question of the day before we go back to the top of the list. And I will allow for some more check-ins in a little while. We were talking about the pandemic's been such a terrible year for everyone. The question I'm asking, you can either tell us about what's happening in your neck of the woods, but the question of the day is, are there any positive takeaways from the pandemic period that we've all been through? Things like the way you're communicating with family and friends, how you're commuting or traveling, how you're managing food or financial matters or group events, things like that. So let's see what you have to say. I'm going to turn it over to Adam. He's either VE3 or VA3 OAP. Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, Victor Echo 3, Oscar Alpha Papa, Adam here. I guess the positive I got out of the pandemic is I had a little bit of spare time, so I was able to do my studying and take the test and pass my ham radio course. I took my test back in August of 2020. So yeah, no, that was my takeaway, and I'm a member of Mississauga Amateur Radio Club.
That's great. Welcome to the hobby and welcome to the club there, Adam. Good use of your time, and I do think for myself as well, that's something that will definitely continue because made many interesting contacts all over the world in the past year since I've got mine. Thank you for that. Okay, Kevin, VA3KKY, I think you've been listening in there, Kevin. Over to you. How are things going? And do you want to take a crack at the question of the day? Go ahead.
I'll give it a try. Certainly. VA3KKY, and good evening to everybody on net. Well, let's go backwards. Nothing negative has really happened because of this. I wondered, on the large scheme of things, what it would be like, but I think even if we were to go through another year of it, ideally, the stay-at-home thing isn't really a tall order for me. It's really what I do anyways. Even when I used to go out, because we really can't, but even when I used to, I'd only really go out for pertinent things. I'd usually be back within the hour anyways. So other than just, I hate asking people to do stuff. That's kind of what I have to do right now. I'm used to just getting up and going and getting anything that I want. I don't really like having gophers. I just do things myself. I hate that. So, if anything, that. I wish I could say, as far as positive, I wish I could say I was just getting my license or I'm using the time to study. That's not true. I've been licensed since '94. But if anything, I've been getting on the air more, because before I kind of walked away from ham radio. I just had too many other things that I could do, and I've been coming back to it, and there's aspects of it and people that I've kind of missed. So that's a positive part of it. And that's it. I mean, in the large scheme of things, it isn't really that bad. I mean, I'm not super traveler. I'm not the man about town. I might talk about it and exaggerate, but for the most part, I like to just cool out at home. So what's bad about it, That's kind of how that goes right now. And then we're riding it out, see where it goes, how it goes. So there you go. If I think of anything else, I'll add, but I'll be here. Please keep me on the list, and back to net.
Thank you, Kevin. Nice to hear your familiar voice. Yeah, being able to spend more time on the radio or read books or whatever, I guess everybody had more time, whether they wanted to or not. And I will keep you on the list. I see that Lawrence, who's using our YouTube channel, VE3HQM, his answer to the question is using platforms like Zoom and FaceTime, getting back into ham radio after 20 years, and joining the Mississauga Club. Glad to have you with us there, Lawrence, and thank you for typing in your answer and participating. Chat works as well. One more on the list here before I open it up for any other check-ins. VA3WM. John, I believe that's you, isn't it? Go ahead. What's new? And take a crack at the question of the day.
Good evening, Gary, and all on the Mississauga net. This is John, Victor Alpha 3 Whiskey Mike in Niagara. Well, I think there was a few things. that have unfolded, in my opinion, that are good. We have made excellent use of the Zoom platform in ways that we managed to attract long-distance presenters that if we didn't have the Zoom platform, there was just no way they'd be able to drive up from North Carolina for a club meeting, for example. And the next thing with the Zoom platform that is good is we started up every morning, 9 a.m., round-robin social net for people that wanted to chat, and just to give them more opportunity than the once-a-week net, as same as the Mississauga Club has. Let me break. So that is a good thing on the Zoom platform. And I think the last thing is a bit more personal. I had the opportunity to take the advanced course through Radio Amateurs of Canada, which if we didn't have the pandemic, they probably would not be offering it. Maybe they would. It's hard to say, but anyways, so on a personal level, that's a great thing, and yes, I passed and really surprised myself with an excellent score. So Gary, thanks for hosting it, and I'll be around for the second go. I'll pass it back to you, VA3WM.
Well, thank you very much for that, John, and for joining us. You're certainly a very prominent person on the air, that's for sure these days. Congratulations on getting your advanced license. And yeah, your point about the Zoom presenters, we've had some amazing people come in that you would, yeah, like you say, they couldn't travel if they wanted to, but it really opens things up. Not just Zoom. I've been bombarded by so many different platforms. I'm just confused. Is it Jitsi? Is it Teams? Is it Hangouts? Whatever. You know, they're all slightly different. But thanks for mentioning that very much. That was pretty good. Let me give one more try for Mike if he happens to be there. We lost him. He checked in, but we lost him. K0FYR, Mike, do you happen to be in there? Go ahead. Nothing heard from poor Mike. Oh, well, he's on the list. I'll open it up to any other check-ins, either RF or Echolink, and then we'll run back to the top of the list for the comment/7-3 round in a moment. Any other check-ins before I do? Go ahead. Okay, I guess we made it through the list. I'll probably try once more at the end. Oh, I guess I should answer my own question to pay penance for that question. There's two things that came to mind for me. I have better connections now with family members that live far away. Because, you know, you might talk to them on the phone once a month. You might travel to see them once every year or two. But I'm able to stay in touch with them much more often now, share some stories, share some pictures, at least weekly. You have dinner with my daughter, who's in Ottawa twice a week, so that's been good. And also some of the committee meetings that I'm on. Instead of people traveling, especially in the winter, traveling from all over the country to come and sit down in a conference room, we're doing these, you know, Zoom meetings, virtual meetings, and whatever. Boy, does that ever cut down on travel expenses, on people's time, and on safety. So people are saying, yeah, we might get together once a year, but we're not going to risk or have the expense or the safety issues associated with all that traveling. That's my 2 cents. Okay, I'm going to go back to the top. Reg, are you there? VK6BQQ. Didn't see him on the screen. Okay, this is the comment or 73 round. You want to comment on what you've heard others say or add something? Go ahead, Brian, VA3AZA.
interesting. Boy, we've had lots of interesting comments in relation to your question. I don't have too much to add. I would clarify one thing. Certainly my buying through Amazon went up. Oh, that's true over the pandemic period. But I did engage local retailers as well, online though. Whereas normally I would have gone there in person. But anyway, so it wasn't. The money didn't just go to one particular retail. I explored a few others, but in any case, yeah, the travel thing, as you mentioned, is certainly worth noting that the video conferencing can spare you the risk of being in bad weather or bad traffic or construction or whatever. It really is. It's a wonderful thing. I hope that is able to continue. In various ways. But anyway, thanks again for doing the net tonight. You had a very interesting question, and the answers are very interesting too. So we'll pass it back to you, VA3AZA, over to net control.
Okay there, Brian. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm glad you clarified that you ordered from the local guys as well. So you're in our good books again. Because I thought you were going to talk me into buying some Amazon shares. What is it, $3,500 a share or something? Oh, scary, very scary. Anyways, thanks for that. Okay, Brian, VE3XBH, any final comments from you, sir?
VA3GDZ, VE3XBH. Well, Gary, actually, John had kind of mentioned it, and I kind of forgot to mention that the club meetings over Zoom have given us the opportunity to have presentations from people who wouldn't normally be able to travel to it, but also a lot of members who wouldn't normally be able to make the meetings have been able to join the meetings on Zoom. So that's something that I know we've talked about even after this is over and all is said and done. We may still want to continue finding a way to be able to, even the in-person meetings also be able to provide them on some kind of a platform so that those who couldn't travel would be able to make it. So that's about all I had. Gary, thanks again for doing the net, and appreciate it, and hope everybody stays well, and I'm sure we'll be talking to everybody down the log sooner or later. VA3GDZ, this is VE3XBH.
Thank you there, Brian. Great to have you on the list. And yeah, you're right. I think you'll get more member participation because not everybody can travel, or somebody gets back late from work, and all they have to do is turn on their computer and to get in to join. So yeah, better participation. Of course, there's less excuses, though. That's the other side of the coin. Thank you for that, Brian. Mark, I assume you're still there because I see the YouTube channel still going strong. Over to you, VA3HES, for the 73 round, or comments on what you've heard.
Thank you, Gary. Victor Alpha 3 Hotel Echo Sierra, Mark returning. Just to further Brian XBH's comments about keeping the in-person meetings online, I am cooking up a concept and a plan so that when we return to having in-person meetings, that we'll have a method to capture and get people on via Zoom or another platform. So that's one of the long-term projects. And one other thing of note, there is another contest this month. June 12th through 14th is the RL VHF contest. It's the June VHF contest, so 2 meters and up. All kinds of different modes, whether it be FM, single sideband, CW, and even some of those digital modes. Try your best to get on the air. We'll be working from the VE3MIS club station. Peter, VA3ELE, he's the big VHF UHF champion for the club and our club station manager. He's excited and looking forward to this year's contest. So please, even if you got an FM rig, get on the air, make some QSOs, and don't forget to listen for us. We'll be working all the modes, and we're going to keep an extra FM station even going just to make some contacts. 73 everyone, and have a great week. Catch you next week. Back to you, Gary.
Yeah, okay there, Mark. Could you clarify one thing? The ARRL field day, on their website, they said it's later in June. So the one you're talking about, yeah, I heard about that. I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you. Is that different? Is that sponsored by ARL, or what's the deal on the 12th versus the one near the end of the month on the 26th and 27th?
VA3HES returning. Yeah, so the second weekend in June, the 12th and 14th, is the VHF, the RL VHF contest. And the fourth weekend in June is the RL Field Day contest. So they are two separate contests. Second weekend of June is VHF. Fourth weekend of June is Field Day. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. I was a little bit confused because in a way they're both field days, but yeah, the VHF one, I remember that from last year. That's a lot of fun, so anybody listening, if you can get into the VE3MIS repeater, do so. Okay, where are we here? Let me see. Barry said he's one and done. I don't know if Robert is still there. VK2DY in the urban sprawl of Sydney. See, I've got it down pat if you're still there, Robert. Go ahead, VK2DY, if you're still there. Well, I think the urban sprawl of Sydney got him, but at least we got him in there. And I don't think, let's see, I'm going to give Reg a chance in a little while. Let me get through my list here. First, only a few more to go. Mike, K0FYR, we lost him partway along. I'll just see if he's there for a moment. Are you there, Mike? No joy on Mike. Okay. Adam, VE3OAP in Mississauga, over to you. Okay, I think Adam was with us just for the one. Kevin, VA3KKY, you're 73, sir.
Yeah, I hope everyone has a very good week. I've been sleeping a lot sometimes, so I don't always make some of the nets in this net, but I'm glad I'm here. Another thing that's kind of positive is I got my Google Mini during the summer when my landline went out, and I first got it like as a way to make phone calls, and then I realized it does so much more things. Yes, Kevin, what a smart device. How funny. Well, I have to have somebody like my brother who actually has a smart account set it up for me, because I don't have anything like that. And it's like a clock radio. It's like a TV. It's like a lot of things, and it's just replaced like almost replaced my room stereo. It's like a ghetto blaster, and all that it entails is the internet has to work, because I've had mornings where the internet doesn't, and then it won't work whatsoever, won't even talk. But as long as the internet's connected to it, it's everything I said it does. It'll wake you up, it'll do the vacuuming, it'll turn on the lawnmower, it'll turn on the furnace, it'll do everything for you, almost everything, just as long as it's connected to the damn internet. So I don't know what to say as it's positive or negative, but it is one contribution that the pandemic did bring, because for a while last summer there was that whole problem with Bell Canada when they had problems with their service because of the storm and things falling on the wires and stuff. So that happened just a little bit, a few blocks away from me, which disrupted service around here forever. So there you go. All right, back to net. You guys have a good one. Take care. VA3KKY.
Yeah, thank you there very much for joining us there, Kevin. And I see Reg is back. We'll get to you in a minute there, Reg. Yeah, getting some new goodies. I have to admit, I ordered some nice things that I got away with that I might not normally, like some radio equipment and a telescope and things like that. And I said to the XYL, I said, gee, honey, we're not traveling anywhere, so I got to spend the money somehow. But then again, she got me back because she ordered some stuff for herself, too. Ouch to the credit card. Anyways, got to enjoy it while you can. Okay, over to you, John, and after that I'll get to you, Reg, if you're still with us. So VE3WM, John in Niagara Falls, you're 73, sir.
Hey, Gary. Well, good net. Lots of good information coming from all the participants. So I don't really have much more to add, so I'm just going to say my 7-3. And everybody continue to, stay healthy and stay well. And we just have to be a little bit more patient with the process. And hopefully everything will be behind us then. This is John, VA3WM, saying 7-3 to all. VA3WM, out.
Yeah, for sure there, John. Always great to have you join us, and we'll try to get into your Niagara net once in a while, too. Let's see if Reg is back with us or not. I don't know if he heard the question, but is there any positive takeaways from the past pandemic year that you think will continue going forward? That's the question of the day. Over to you, Reg.
VA3AZA in the group, the K6BQQ. Yeah, I had a few errands to run here, so I missed out on a lot of it, but in any event, positive. Well, we have a new host net controller for our net. That's positive. She's doing a fine job. Tara from Pennsylvania. So Friday nights we'll have her on with the Friday Night Tech Net. Our Flying Pig Net is growing. Unbelievable. We're celebrating the 100 years of the RAF, the Royal Australian Air Force, and we'll have the little bit of activity down at our RAF Museum July the 3rd. So the Flying Pigs will be, we'll be right in the belly of the Lancaster bomber. It's a static display here at Bull Creek. So we'll be hooking up with the wireless Hill group. If you're not familiar with it, it was quite an RF station on the hill here. And, it did its thing during, times when it was needed. So lots of activity on the go, and, during the last year, 2 years, our increase in activity has, it's gone up about 50%. So people were staying at home and getting radioactive, so that was kind of good. And talking about radioactive, our individual that comes on our Flying Pig Net, I see he's on here this morning, so maybe he'd like to pop in. I see he's up in the Indian Ocean again, West Australia. So if you like, it's VK6 Golf India Alpha. If you want to bring him in, we'll see where it goes. But good net. Great to hear you in here. This new Echolink program, I find the audio in the headset is really good. So if there's any comments on that, we'll keep an ear out. Anyway, back to Gary. VA3 GDZ. That's it. Golf Delta Zulu. VK60QQ. Good morning.
Well, thank you for joining us, Reg. Yeah, us Brian's and Gary's, we all look alike, or maybe we all sound alike. I seriously doubt that. And yeah, you mentioned you've been hamming it up in more ways than one for quite a while, and certainly you had quite an accomplishment, too, in the past year to make it through your 1,000th net. No way anybody's going to touch that, I think. We will see if anybody else wants to check in. I don't like shooting fish in a barrel by picking them off the way you do, Reg, but we'll see if anybody else wants to check in. Go ahead now, please.
03, you may
actually in Byford, Byford, southeast of Perth.
Okay, Peter, nice to hear you in there. I remember when that cyclone was heading towards you, we were worried about you there on the west coast. I don't know if you've heard the question of the day. We're just wrapping up the net here. We're asking people if anything new that they want to share with the group, or if they want to take a crack at the question of the day. It's been a terrible year for just about everybody in the world, but we're trying to find something positive to say. So is there any positive takeaways from the pandemic period that you can think of? Things like how we communicate with each other, how we travel, that sort of thing. Over to you, Peter.
VA3GDZ. Good day there, Gary. Good evening to all in Canada and stateside. VK6GIA. I'm not at home at the moment. We came down to Byford a few days ago. I needed some medical work done. I've had ultrasounds and x-rays. What it is, I have diabetes and my feet have gone numb, and I get a lot of pain in the heel of especially the right foot, right leg, and it travels all the way up the body to the shoulder area. Anyhow, had it all x-rayed, and we're going to have to wait down here a couple of more days to find the results. Anyhow, yeah, talking about, things you did during the pandemic. Well, in our case, we were camping prior to COVID coming out. We decided we were camping for about 3 months, and at the end of it, COVID raised its head, so we decided that we would stay on in the town of Greenhead. And we've been up there nearly a year. Quite amazing. 2 years all up, but a year in permanent residency up there. And I'll just put a quick break. From VK6GIA. The thing with Greenhead, it's a half-horse town. Reggie knows what I'm talking about. It's a bush town right on the Indian Ocean. It even has an area called Dynamite Bay. And you have one general store, a small cafe, a small hotel, and a chemist that only opens 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. And that's about it. The nearest town is 40 kilometers south. And if you need medical help, well, not much going on. Not much going on there. That's my dog wanting a bit of attention there. But anyhow, all going good, and we are coming down here to live the second week of July, and my wife's going in to get a macular repair done on her right eye. We went to get our glasses checked, and my wife was saying that she wasn't seeing too well, and the macula's got a hole in it, which isn't good. But anyhow, she got an appointment at Royal Perth Hospital here in Western Australia, and she'll get that done on the 22nd of June. Okay, thanks to the net. Great technology. VK6GIA. Good day.
Okay there, Peter. Well, thank you very much for joining us from Greenhead. I'm not sure that other place you mentioned. I'll have to look at a map. Yeah, take care of your health, both for you and your wife. We have some relatives with diabetes, and there's many things that you have to keep a close eye on. So I hope it all works out well for you. You're in a beautiful part. Oh, Byford. Thank you, Reg. I don't know where Byford is. Anyway, we'll figure that out. Oh, and I see on YouTube we have somebody trying to get in from Oshawa, VK3LKS, Laird from Oshawa. Well, you guys out there in Oshawa, must have wimpy transmitters if you can't make it into Mississauga. I just thought I'd give him a little dig there. Okay, thank you everybody for the contacts and the insights. Any last-minute check-ins? I'll just take a brief standby. Any last-minute check-ins to the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club Tuesday Night Net? Go ahead.
Kilowatt Sierra.
Well, that was a tough trip. I heard, I think it was VE3 Lima Kilowatt Sierra. Give it a try. You're scratchy, but I did make out your call sign, sir.
Victor Echo 3 Lima Kilowatt Sierra. I'm one of those wimpy stations out here in Oshawa, Gary.
Yeah, okay, we will check you in, but you're barely readable, I'm afraid. But it's great to have you try to make the connection there, Laird, on behalf of the North Shore Amateur Radio Club in Oshawa, Ontario. Thank you for that. So I think I'll have to wrap it up because I don't think we could have much of a QSO with you, Laird, and we didn't get back to Mike from Colorado. But we heard some good suggestions here, things like ordering online. Certainly several people commented on Zoom meetings. You get more members. You can contact your family and friends much more easily. Getting ham licenses, more baking and more weight gain. Shopping online, getting some toys, getting people to come in and present to the club who would never be able to travel that much, and avoiding dangerous and expensive and time-consuming travel too. A lot of good suggestions and good comments, and I did try this question on some people earlier, and there was a few crabby people who said, nah, we're going to end up wearing masks and staying away from people for years. And I don't want to believe that, and it's not all bad, and you guys did mention some really good points, but there's some good things that we're coming away with. Please stand by. So I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. If you have any comments, thoughts, or suggestions, you can contact us for club matters via email at VE3MIS@RAC.ca, or feedback. You can give us some feedback or suggestions either to me by email on my QRZ page. This is VA3 Golf Delta Zulu, or to the club site VE3MIS. I'm going to be closing the net now and returning the repeater to general use. Thank you all for your participation. 73 all, and I'll stand by for a few minutes after the net. Have a good evening. VE3LKS, did you want to try again?
VE3LKS, yeah, I'm running on medium power here. I can't get on the high, and my radio for some reason keeps turning off when I go on and put it to high power.
Yeah, you're barely readable. Something about going on to high power or you're on medium power, but you did make it in, and you're logged into the net there, Laird. I don't know if you can crank it up a notch or whatever, but go ahead.
Unfortunately, no, I can't crank it up anymore. If I do, it won't transit on high power. I need to check to see what's wrong here. My SWR is fine, so I'm not sure why it's doing that.
Yeah, okay, you're barely readable. There's a lot of static there. You're just barely above the noise, and I didn't think we could have a very good QSO on the net with you because you just barely made it. But thank you for trying. If you can get a little more oomph, you can also come in on Edelink if you have it. But thank you for joining. Said you're logged in. I don't know if you heard the conversation. How was the reception, if I could?
S7 here in Oshawa, and I'm up pretty high too. Like as you're coming through Oshawa, I'm up on the high hill there, just as you're exiting Oshawa. So I've got a pretty good shot. But yeah, you're coming in around S7 on my radio, anyways.
copy that. The Mississauga repeater's coming as an S7 out to Oshawa. Oh, that's pretty good. And I think you're the first person from out there that's come into this net or this repeater. So you made the trip, but just barely. I don't think medium power is going to do it. But anyways, thanks for trying, and I'll be chatting with you on your nets or on if I can make it out to one of your Wednesday night sessions. Anyways, I'll take a bit of a standby if anybody else wants to use the repeater for normal amateur radio use.
Gary, VE3LKS clear.
Got you, Laird. This is Victor Alpha 3, Golf Delta Zulu, Gary in west end of Toronto.